The following episode of the Potsy and Tino Show is rated mature for strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey guys, this is Jay Lethal, the Black Machismo, and woo, the Nature Boy, and you're listening to the Potsy and Tino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings you tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Tino Gray, the badass Rob Potsy Podcheck, the Potsy and Tino Show. Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 Jones. And
the fuck was that?
Did you not like that?
The fuck was that?
It was a brand new intro.
The fuck was that? Why?
Did you not like it?
We never did it before. Is it something we got to do now?
No, I just figured, you know, we do drop F-bombs quite a bit, so we might as well tell people that we're rated mature. Don't worry, it's the only intro that I put that on so far.
What is this? I was confused.
So, folks, I don't know if you noticed. What's up? Hello, Jones. Michael Turner in the audience already. Folks, just so you know, for whatever reason, on my Facebook page, I don't always see the comments. I think I worked it out, but just in case not, I put a little thing on the bottom that says that we're testing the comments through both Facebook and YouTube. I know that YouTube comments do work, so if for any reason you cannot see your comments showing up on the screen or we're not mentioning you, you can always join us at youtube.com/Rob Pochak and join the conversation that way. We'd love to hear from everybody that's actually in the audience. I know last week when I went and looked at the Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, there were a ton of comments on there that said, hello, and we just never saw them because they didn't show up on here. Apparently, when StreamYard, so I was looking into it. Apparently, when StreamYard, the service that we use to do the show every week, apparently when they send the signal to Facebook, it defaults to a friends only thing, and Facebook, for the comments to show up in StreamYard, have to be on public. So I went through all the settings, tried to change it to public. So if you're on my personal Facebook page seeing us on video right now, try to say hello. We'll let you know if we actually see it in the comments. If we don't see it after like a minute of you saying it, please just go ahead and join us on YouTube if you actually want to join in on the chat. We'd love to have you there too. So, Tino, we always start the show with a little segment called What's Up With You?
On your personal Facebook? I'm on your personal Facebook. I don't even see the show.
Is it not on there? It should be. Maybe it does. Yeah, I just saw it.
On this one?
Yeah, this one. Right here. There it is.
It's not showing up over here.
Try clicking on. Try reloading it, because right now it does actually say live on my face.
Well, on your end it does, but like if you see on mine, it doesn't. It's got that green dot.
Yeah, that's weird. Just click on the face and see if it just pulls up the picture, or if it goes to like my. That's a good looking dude.
You say so.
Wow. Meanie. Anyways.
Oh, he said he's live on the Facebook. Okay, so why isn't it showing up on my end? That's weird.
Well, the question is Terrence live on my Facebook, or is he live on the Potsy and Tino Facebook? I think he's on the Potsy and Tino Facebook.
That might be too. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not showing up, man. Because it's definitely it's live. It's on mine. So, are you not a friend of mine on there?
That's how I went right. Not now, bitch.
Wow.
Unfriend your motherfucking ass. All right.
So see it on my
see, he said he's on the Potsy and Tino page.
Yeah, so on my StreamYard page, it says can't post comments to some destinations. So I don't know what's going on there. So again,
Go to the
if
Potsy and Tino page.
you're on the Potsy and Tino page and want to join us on the other, just give us a, come on down. You're the next contestants. Tino, what's been going on?
That's right.
Cappuccino Jones, you're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
He said now he's on YouTube. He's just bouncing back and forth. All right.
Hey, I don't mind. Gets us the hits.
What did I do? Let's see. Had a pretty good week. Saturday. I mowed our backyard for, because it looked like a jungle. And the pollen blew up and hit me in the face. It's like a cloud. I'm out there cutting grass. It's like a yellow cloud. It's like everywhere. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you see my Instagram story yesterday? It was a video of like a truck knocking down a tree, and as the tree went down, you just saw this cloud of like massive amounts of and it said Tennessee this week, and I sat there and just covered up the Tennessee and said North Carolina knows.
God, right? So then I realized, because we got the backyard expanded and we have the grass, so and the fence. So, when you cut the grass, but you can't quite get, like, here's the fence line. You can't get that lawnmower right there. So you got all that grass growing up. I'm like, all right, I need to go get a weed eater. So I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Lowe's. And Nicole goes, oh, we need a new fridge too. I'm like, this is not what I thought. So we went and ate, dinner at Doherty's, the Irish pub. And then all right, we'll go to Lowe's, look at the weed eater, look at the refrigerator. So we end up getting a weed eater, and the refrigerator's getting delivered Wednesday. But we needed a new one because ours, it's old, and the crisper drawers just fall. They won't stay in the little brackets. The brackets broke, so they just fall down. The little things that hold the thing in the door, those plastic, they're broke. We got kids, and so the ice maker doesn't work anymore. So I mean, we've had this thing for like 15 years, so it's time to get a new one.
Now you're going to do what most families do and just move the old one into the garage.
That's right. That's right. There's nothing wrong with it. Still keep shit cold. We'll still put shit out there.
Yeah, it's perfect for your parties.
Yep, we'll put drinks out there, and we get because we go to Costco, right? So we get like extra stuff that we can have in the freezer out there in the garage. So yeah, and that's about it. Like I said, we have nothing really going on. My wife Nicole went to, so she had a friend of hers is getting married, so they had the little bridal shower Saturday, her and a bunch of friends. My wife came home robbed, and then my wife only twice, my wife, she rarely drinks, at our Christmas party, and this thing, I don't think drunk adequately describes what my wife was. But it was funny. She's a happy drunk. She came home, and Matthew happened to be up when she got home, and he got the biggest. He's like, Dad. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it was awesome.
So I've been trying to cut down the amount of days I drink recently. So I was drinking before the show almost every week, and then I stopped doing that. And now I really don't drink except for like maybe Thursday and Saturday or whatever. Okay. And I apparently got so drunk on Saturday that when I got home, I was starving, right? So it was almost, yeah. And normally, like if I've been drinking all night, I just fall asleep or whatever. But I ordered Pizza Hut, and I don't even know what time it was, but I apparently ordered like the Pizza Hut big box for myself.
Oh my God.
So I've got enough. So I've still got food. It's Monday now. I've been eating it for 3 days.
What comes? So it's a pizza. What comes in a pizza?
It's like 2 pizzas, a thing of breadsticks, and a thing of wings.
God, Rob.
Well, so as of right now, I still have a whole pizza left, and some of the breadsticks.
You already ate the wings though.
No, yeah, they were. I think there were wings. I don't even know. no, there were boneless wings in there, and I had a couple of those left yesterday, so I ate those for like lunch yesterday with like 2 slices of the pizza. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a wrestling. That's like when you have us over watching wrestling. You should order something like that, not just by yourself.
Well, right, and that's normally like we'd have Helios over, we'd have like Jason and his dad over, and that's what I would order for something like that. And yeah, again though, I've now gotten 3 meals out of it. I'll probably get another one. So I mean, like, specifically, I would say that it's probably the cheapest thing that I've ordered from like a DoorDash in a while because of the amount of meals I've gotten out of it.
So how much is a big box like that through DoorDash? What does that run you?
So I found the actual printout receipt that came with the bag, and it was like $31.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, but I didn't look to see what the DoorDash fees were on it.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, it was really bad pollen out, and then it started to rain today, and I was like, I don't feel like leaving the house at this point. But I was hungry, and I was like, well, what do I want to order? So I've got all 3. Like I've got Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats all downloaded on my phone, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to pull up a meal, and I noticed that one of the places says, hey, if you order $30 worth of food, you get $8 off. So it brings it down to $22 plus your tip. Cool. Then I look at it when I get ready to hit the purchase thing, and it has $9 in fees added to it, because I'm not one of their $10 a month subscribers on that service. Wow. So I am one of the $10 subscribers on Grubhub, but I'm getting ready to cancel that shit because I'll tell you what, Grubhub has like the worst selection out of all of them. So I think I'm gonna have to figure out which one I like the restaurants at the most, and that's gonna be the one I decide to sign up with. Although since I use Uber like twice a week now for different things, it almost makes sense to have the Uber One because you get Uber Eats and Uber included on Uber One.
Oh, okay.
So for the $10 a month, you end up saving, and when you do that, you can even like save a actual like route price for them to pick up and take you somewhere, and you can actually save it so you pay the same amount every month. Kind of like how Duke Energy sits there and says, "Hey, if you do it all at once, you might save money on your bill because we're going to average it out and say that's what you're paying per month," which means if they averaged it out, you're paying the same shit anyway. But you know what I mean. Yeah. Anyway, so last week we were getting ready to do the show, and out of nowhere, I sat there and messaged you saying I was going to have to watch the show from my laptop and do the show from the laptop. Yeah. Or not my laptop because I use my laptop right now, but my iPad. So the next day, I contacted them and they were like, "We'll send someone out tomorrow." So last Wednesday they sent somebody out with a brand new motherboard for my computer. Okay,
this is your house?
Yes, they send someone out to that. Yeah. When I bought the laptop, I paid extra money for like a 5-year you come to my house warranty. So the only time I don't get to have someone come out to my house is if I crack the screen or if I get it wet. So if I like damage it with water or whatever, but then they still let me ship it to them, and then they send me a new computer or whatever.
Gotcha.
But so anyway, they come out, and just so anybody knows, the problem it was having was that the Wi-Fi completely disappeared. And I come to find out it's actually on the motherboard, right? So your little board that's like this big and kind of weirdly shaped because it's got your fan and everything else in there. The board that's on the bottom of your laptop has a modem Wi-Fi adapter in it that's about that big. Okay, so like the size of what you can see my eye through, right? That's how big it is. That's what gets you your full gigabit internet signal and everything else. Well, for whatever reason, Microsoft sent a brand new update for my computer out on the 24th. Last week we did, on the 23rd. So they sent it out on Sunday. So when I opened up my computer on Monday, it automatically downloaded the update, and then it had no idea where my Wi-Fi was. It was just gone. Like for those that have Windows computers, in your bottom right corner, you'll see like the little Wi-Fi signal. You'll see your like whether or not you've got sound on and whether or not you got like your battery. The Wi-Fi one was just gone. Like you couldn't go into the settings and find it. Nothing. It was gone. I ordered one of the little adapters to plug in via USB. Immediately came back. But when I unplugged that thing, gone.
So what they say happened?
So they said they think it was just an update from Windows. Okay. So what this really means, Tino, is if that's truly what it was, because when they brought the new motherboard out, the new motherboard also did not have it. It still was gone. So the next day after that, they had to send me another new motherboard. Now, I bought a $2,300 laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a cheap motherboard. It's probably an $800, $700, $800 motherboard on this thing. So they just replaced it twice.
Hey.
When they replaced it the second time, it showed up, and the guy immediately like set up where it will not automatically download updates. Because if it downloaded that update again, it was going to immediately shut it off again. Which means anybody that bought this same laptop that I bought is probably dealing with this exact issue right now.
That's terrible. That's why I stick with Apple.
Dude, well, see, that this is it though. Like, if Apple were to send the same kind of signal, it would do the same shit. So, and it was basically just whatever Wi-Fi card they had in there. I guess when they updated everything else, they left that card off the system update. So, yeah, what's up, Chris Barrett? Hadn't seen you guys in a little while. So had to deal with that. Other than that,
You're from your job?
No, not yet. And I've been looking like twice a day to see whether or not it's gone into under review. So the ones that I've applied to right now still just say you've applied. They don't say it's under review or anything. So nobody's looked at it yet. It does say one of them's under review for a job that I want. It's actually technically it's the exact job I had, but it's a different department. And it says it's under review, and it's been under review since probably last Monday. So I don't know. Like normally, if it says under review twice, it means it actually went past like their review thing, and then it actually went to somebody who is now actually reviewing it. So we'll see if that happens. If it does, I expect a phone call to at least interview for the position. Otherwise, that's pretty much that. My nephew calls me on Thursday last week, and he goes, "Hey, I passed my test. I'm supposed to get a raise now." I'm like, "That's great," because he apparently is as a mechanic, he's doing like ACS tests or whatever, so he can become like an ACS mechanic and get mastery and all that other shit with it. And then he asked me if I want to hang out, so I hang out with him on Thursday. And while we're sitting there, he gets a phone call from work, and it says that he screwed something up. Right? Not on the test, but on something he was working on. So he's freaking out about it because and this seems to be a problem with a lot of young people, is that if you start having a conversation about something, they hang to that very first item that you talk about, and they don't want to move on to anything else, right? So he's like, I got to figure out whether or not like I'm in trouble. I gotta know. So he got up from us hanging out, walked out of the restaurant, sat there, made a phone call, came back in, and he goes, "Yeah, I apparently fucked up pretty good." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Nothing you can do about it right now, right?" So then I sit there and I go, "So don't worry about it." He's like, I'm freaking out. I'm whatever, you know. Comes to find out, yeah, he screwed up really bad. But, you know, it's like his second screw up in a year and a half working at the place. So it really shouldn't matter as much as, you know, someone makes it out to. Because like, you know, someone called them and said, "Hey, you need to fix the problem." And then they started complaining, saying they were going to call corporate and everything else, which he works at a corporate dealership. So they were already calling corporate. You know, one of those dumb things. So my nephew apparently, I don't really want to get into it, but he works somewhere else now. He literally went to another dealership and was able to. He got 2 job offers like on the spot from 2 different mechanic places. So he was like, so I work here now. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Good
Wow.
for you. You know, like, see, everything works out in the end. And he's like, yeah. And then we went to go see that movie, A Working Man, with Jason Statham.
Oh, is that good?
No. But you know what? It's a Jason Statham movie. So
I'll watch it myself because sometimes you say shit ain't good. I'm like, no, that was a good movie.
So I went to go see it. It was fine. It's a Jason Statham movie, right? So like the whole time I'm sitting there and I just keep looking at, you know, like going like this to Drew, my nephew. I'm like, I'm a working man. I'm a working man. It's what I do. You know, like, and I just keep doing that. And he's like, Uncle Rob, would you shut up, please? But it's because every Jason Statham movie he does, he always tells you the name of the movie at some point. You know, like, I'm a beekeeper. I collect bees. What? You know, like the only movie I don't think that he actually said the name of the movie is Hobbs and Shaw, because how's he going to sit there and work in, we're Hobbs and Shaw? You know, they hated each other. But I'm a transporter. Yeah, I guess you are. Okay. Oh, I'm a beekeeper. Yeah, yep. That you're actually making honey. I can see it. Okay. You know, like every movie he does is like that. So I saw a comedian sitting there talking about that, and the comedian actually said directly to Jason Statham, he's like, you know what you need to do, Jason, because you always use that like low voice, like you're almost whispering. You should do a movie called The Librarian. And he's like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, you do a movie called The Librarian, because then you can be like, I'm a librarian. You need to shut up. You know, and then he beats the shit out of people. Were you just trying to clean your teeth?
I wasn't trying to. I did. I could feel I had something in there. I'm like, I mean, hey.
Oh man, we're in rare form already.
Not like I picked my nose.
So the issue Die Hard 3 should be in store soon. I believe it's supposed to be shipping this week, and I should have it by early next week, I think. So right in time for Easter, and tomorrow, of course, is April Fool's Day. So you know, when I worked at GameStop, I would always go on to all the video game websites because they always post like fake trailers and shit for stuff that's coming up, and I always love them because, you know, like I don't know if you ever played the game Far Cry Blood Dragon at one point, but so when Far Cry 3 was like their big name game at the time, they joked on April 1st that they were going to come out with a game called Far Cry Blood Dragon, and it was like an 80s action knockoff type thing. So like the main character was voiced by Michael Biehn, you know, the guy from Terminator. He actually, his handgun that didn't need to be reloaded was the same gun that RoboCop had. You know, like all these different, like, yeah, the helicopter he flew in on was Airwolf. You know, but none of that's, so it just all looked like it. They didn't actually claim that it was Airwolf or whatever. But it was awesome. You know, like the whole trailer was awesome. It was so awesome that people started like begging for them to come out with it, and they finally came out with Far Cry Blood Dragon. And now at this point, Netflix has even done a cartoon for it. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was one of the times that it actually worked out well. Minecraft also releases on April Fools. Yeah, I don't
think I want to watch that movie.
I don't think I can. It looks horrible. Like,
A, I've never played Minecraft, and B, it looks horrible.
Well, I've never actually played Minecraft either, because I look at it and I go, I don't like, I bought a $500 video game machine to sit there and play something that looks like I could have gotten on a Nintendo.
They do a fake update. I'm not talking about the game. Oh, she's talking about the game, not the movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a bunch of them do it. The guys who did World of Warcraft used to sit there and they go, the new World of Warcraft, and then it would be like 8-bit. So it would just be like little sprites going across the screen or whatever, and it's like, but it would have like the the old style like MIDI music, like
God,
like how you and I were talking about like the WWE games like
yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on. Let's go into the weekly TV update. Tino, did you get to watch anything?
Oh yeah, I watched a few things. I watched the last Watson. I didn't watch this week. I watched last or this past week. Last one I watched is where the chick kept forgetting things every 3 minutes. I was like, that's gotta suck.
Well, it's like the movie Memento.
Yeah.
Where the guy started tattooing himself everything.
And then Tracker. I did catch up on Irrational, but I don't think they had a new Found.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a new Found episode. I think the reason why was because they were apparently doing Found tonight, and what they were doing was actually showing a rerun of Suits LA in that 10 o'clock spot after Law and Order. And I think they're doing that this week and next week, and then the week after that they're going to do Law and Order SVU, and then Law and Order Organized Crime, which Organized Crime will then move to Peacock and run its entire season on Peacock, and that's when Found will go back to Thursday nights. Or maybe they did 2 episodes of Suits LA and then did, I don't know, but yeah, they're trying to get more people to watch Suits LA, and I watched the latest episode this morning, and I gotta tell you, like, I loved Suits for like the first 3 seasons, and this one, I don't know who's writing the scripts, but it's not nearly on the same level. Like, they keep making really bad, like, dumb jokes and stuff where like the jokes were a lot smarter in the original series. So I don't know.
And then I watched the 2 episodes of Daredevil. Is that the last 2?
No, there's 3 more. There's 3 more this season.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So I think that they did the right thing with that. For those that haven't watched it, too bad, you've had a week. They dropped 2 episodes, and I think that they made the right decision by dropping 2, because I think that if they had just dropped the bank heist episode, it might have made people sit there and go, this isn't really what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you watch episode 6, it is like a fist right to your jaw.
The violence. They're up in the violence. When he was fighting the bad guy and caught up with him in the alley or in that little breezeway, and he jumped up and kicked his leg. I'm like,
yeah, you're talking about episode 5, and for those that haven't watched it,
yeah,
he stops a bank heist and he goes outside and he grabs one of the guy's own masks and puts it on so that he can be a masked vigilante. And he steps outside, and I'd seen this image of him doing that jump, but I don't think they ever showed like what happened when he connected. And it literally is just like when you take a broken tree and try to snap it over something, and it like that leg just goes crack, and it's
because I was watching it after work, and Matthew was in his room, I think, because he was like a little bit behind me, and all of a sudden,
you were like, "Oh shit!"
And I went, "Oh fuck!" Matthew's like, "What?" I'm like, "You'll get there," and then it happened. Then it happened. I heard him go, "Dang!" You saw it, yeah.
But then they did episode 6.
Oh my god!
Which kind of felt like it could have been the very first episode all over again.
But it did what I was saying about Fisk, right? When are we going to see?
Yeah,
the strength, and they did it.
I love the correlation where
Fighting.
as Matt is becoming Daredevil again, Fisk is becoming Kingpin again. And I don't know if you caught it, but when he goes to put on his suit, the suit doesn't fit anymore. It's like he's getting bigger.
Yep. Oh, I
so yeah. So I'm beginning to wonder. I'm beginning to wonder if the Kingpin
aren't fitting like they used to.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder whether or not the Kingpin, they're trying to make him almost like the Hulk, where as he rages, he gets bigger. Because they've never really discussed Wilson Fisk really having powers. They've just always said that his mass was actually muscle, not fat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, watching him not be able to fit, and all of a sudden the jacket rips, and it's like, maybe I'm gonna have to go to another tailor. You know,
suits hadn't been fitting lately. I'm like, oh god.
But yeah, and even the way that the episode ended, you know, like, and the character's called Muse. You know, they even stated the name of the character, like, oh, are you Muse, and taking pictures and whatever.
Him being in the comics, so is that like, I wonder if that's just a new
No, the character's definitely been in the comics. Apparently the character in the comics does have superpowers, and reviews that I've read about the episode have actually said they're glad the character does not seem to have superpowers, because then Matt being a regular street level person can sit there and beat him. Now, I mean, in the comics, Daredevil would end up finding out a way to beat him anyway, but because like even Bullseye, like it never really made sense to me as to how Bullseye was that accurate with things, because all they ever talked about at the beginning was how he was like a pinpoint pitcher before that, and then all of a sudden, like when you see him, he's sitting there like flinging paper clips and killing flies on the wall and shit. So
you brought up a good point too, and I didn't even thought about it, because I watched the animated Spider-Man. And he was like, yeah, that the white tiger. He said that girl, the niece, that's the name of her. And I'm like, fuck, it is. That the girl, I forget what her name is. If you watch the Spider-Man, like I did, I watched the animated ones, it's her. So yeah. I guess I'm like, oh, I didn't even, he got that one for me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and Charlie Cox actually voiced Daredevil in that episode where you see him in that Spider-Man cartoon. So it was the same voice.
And I think I texted you too in the bang. I'm like, isn't that Miss Marvel's dad? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, I'd already looked it up before you answered me. I'm like, is Miss Marvel going to make an appearance on Daredevil?
No, and in fact, when it all came up, one of the interviews that I read with like the directors of the episodes, he actually said that that they want to incorporate more of the actual MCU, but it has to make sense in that world. And so a bank robbery where he's working was the only way they could actually make it all connect, because Kamala Khan's world is a lot softer, a lot sweeter, and of course, like when they talk about how he's from like Jersey City or whatever, Daredevil sits there and goes, oh, that's a great place, and he's like, I've never heard anybody talk about it that nicely before.
Before he left, like when he put, he said, they said something about him getting together and going over for dinner. So that's why I was like, I'm wondering if they're gonna.
No, I think that's just one of those little play on things, but all along, and I don't know if you noticed, but episode 4, 5, and 6 all had tie-ins. They all had something, because episode 4 obviously had the Punisher. Episode 5 had Yusuf Khan. I love how he sits there and tries to show Matt Murdock, the blind guy, the custom made top vinyl. And then episode 6 had the Swordsman in it. So from Hawkeye. So in fact, I couldn't tell if the blonde woman was actually supposed to be his or Cassie's. Not Cassie. The girl Hawkeye, played by Haley Steinfeld. I couldn't tell if the blonde was supposed to be her mom or not. So, but I know that the other one with the hair was obviously the Swordsman. So I thought that was interesting. I liked how how you got your little tie-ins out of the way with the MCU. So now, if they want to, they can bring Frank back if they want. But I almost don't think they're going to, unless he shows up because Daredevil's just overmatched by all of the SWAT team.
But they kind of have to. Did they ever establish if he was the one that killed White Tiger? Remember at the end of that episode, they had the Punisher shirt?
No, so Daredevil knows it's not him because it either doesn't smell like it, the bullet didn't smell like him, whatever. So he already knew that. Because if you've noticed, they've also tried to make it seem like Daredevil's powers are pretty enhanced. Because I mean, like, he was able to listen in specifically for that girl's heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And find her. I mean, like, he's there, So I thought that was pretty interesting because I know he can do it if he's following somebody, but my only thought there is that maybe when he listened into her, heard the actual way the beat happens.
He did the same thing when he left the bank. He was like, he stopped. He was on the phone and he stopped and he could hear whatever. And he'd already walked he's a good block away from that bank. So
but if he was listening into that person already, then he would know. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying with her, because she was at the office earlier in the day. If he remembered that rhythm and was listening for it, after they said she didn't come home, did he listen for that specific rhythm of the heart? Okay. So that's where I think that comes in. Any other shows that you saw this week?
Nah, that's about it.
So I watched all of that stuff that you talked about. I did watch Tracker and the new episode of Watson today. Reacher finished last week, and I know you said you haven't watched any of that, right? So season 1, absolutely, it's a go. Watch it. Season 2, I thought was trash, probably written by AI, and season 3 was excellent. So definitely worth a watch. Anthony Michael Hall plays one of the main characters in the season. Of course, he gets put in a situation where no random 6'5" guy would be put in, but he ends up in it somehow. But a really good season with that. I've been watching a show, Tino, that I talked to you a little bit about last week called Designated Survivor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in season 3 now, and I realized that season 1, 22 episodes. Season 2, 22 episodes. Season 3, which I just got done the first episode of, 10 episodes. Do you know why? Because they moved it to fucking Netflix.
Oh.
And Netflix doesn't like those 20 episode seasons. I also noticed in the very beginning of the episode, I was like, where's this Secret Service guy? Because for 2 seasons, 44 episodes, this guy is his Secret Service guy. And now all of a sudden he's just got like 5 random ones. Like you couldn't pay one guy for one more 10 episode season?
No.
They brought in other people. That shit drives me nuts. It's like, oh, I can tell the inconsistencies with this. I also immediately knew it had to be either a Netflix or a different streaming service for the final season. When all of a sudden a woman just randomly goes, "Well, ain't that the fucking truth?" And I'm like, "What? This show was on ABC." Like it catches you a little off guard. Like when we were watching Evil, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, season 1 was on CBS, but season 2, all of a sudden Michael Emerson's character just drops an F-bomb in that first episode. And you're like, oh, streaming only.
So I'm waiting for Netflix on a Raw Netflix to start dropping something. Wrestlers.
Well, I mean, I can't say.
I mean, they're saying shit on TBS. I mean, so what AEW?
They've been. You didn't watch today's Monday Night Raw yet, so we're not going to talk about today's Monday Night Raw. I already told you specifically that the Cody Cena promo is fire,
right.
But all 3 of them have been now, so it's it well worth it. And if it's the last time they talk to each other before WrestleMania, like they're kind of claiming it is, they really needed to sell it, right? So yeah, Michael Turner said it was fire too. I'm trying to think. I think that there was one other show that I was watching that I just forgot about. But I wanted to make sure we talked about Daredevil because it was incredible this week. Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely incredible. But all right, Tino. I guess we can jump into Monday Night Raw from last week.
Let's do it.
All right, we're jumping into pro wrestling now, folks. If you're in the audience watching and wanna join with us on that, like I said, hop on the YouTube, like it says, with instructions on the bottom. We got the. I wrote Punk promo, so you're gonna have to try to walk me through last week's Monday Night Raw because I watched this week's already. So, so there's a lot of things I'm not really thinking of.
A lot of wrestling. He pretty much came out and said, you know what a time it is to be alive on a Monday night.
Oh, right, because that was right after a PLE, right?
Yeah, so he's just pretty much stating his case on why he needs to be the main event at WrestleMania, and he's going to win and things like that. I mean, it was pretty good. It was a Punk promo. They're always going to be good.
Yeah. Well, the show actually opened once again with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, but John Cena coming out saying he was going to ruin wrestling, and I remember that specifically because he said that he intends to basically do what CM Punk did in 2012, which was win the world championship and go home, and then he could claim that he was the last real world champion.
Yeah. Yeah, but then he also was it this promo where he was saying that everybody got on him about the toy spinner belt? Was that this promo or was that the week before?
That was this one, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting too. He was like, everybody came down on me because I made the belt into a toy, and I remember that. I remember people weren't happy when he came out with that spinner belt, but then they kept it though. You know what I mean? Even when he wasn't champion, Edge had the rated R belt, and I think that was because we knew eventually he was going to go back to Cena. But they kept the spinner belt, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did win this belt from Cody. I wonder if he'll make that into a spinner too, just because.
Well, I don't think so. I think that at this point he might get his own specialty belt, but I don't see him doing something like a spinner belt or anything like that because he's matured, he's older. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he does something like what CM Punk did and spray paint an X on it or whatever.
I mean, if he is trying to ruin wrestling and if he's trying to piss people off,
maybe he'll put it in a briefcase and just make it disappear.
Man, I'm not talking about that stupid shit, but
well,
I would think he would do something like that, just to piss people off.
Well, I think what it's meant to actually show is that he's going to be off TV for a while, and it's going to take someone finally saying something to have him sit there and come back and go, oh, no, you don't get to say that shit about me.
Okay.
Because obviously he's part-time, right? He's signed up for 36 dates or whatever, and I think at this point he's at like 9. So I think we're already at like a quarter of all of his dates that he's supposed to do for the year, and we're almost we're at a quarter of the year. We're at a quarter of the year's done. Well, yeah, because I mean, like, look at how they work with Roman at this point. Mm-hmm. Roman probably has it where he works no more than 40 dates a year, and like when they send him on all these trips overseas and whatever, he's obviously doing some of the special towns and everything else, doing the MSG shows and stuff, so they can't even put them on TV every week because you'd be like, oh, well, at 40 weeks a year, you're only missing 12 weeks, right? But no, You're not. You're missing quite a bit more when they want you doing the overseas shows and stuff like that because they're trying to really build those markets. So, I mean, it's interesting. Apparently Ric Flair really liked this promo. The ruining wrestling one because he's Ric Flair specifically said, I'm glad I was alive to see him say it. Because Ric Flair, while WWE claims he's only won the title 16 times, Ric Flair claims that he's won the title like 24 or 25 times.
Of course.
And then even Charlotte Flair also came out and dropped some bombs on people with this, saying, "I hope John Cena does break the record so that I can break his record and not my dad's."
Nice.
Although, let me ask you something: if Charlotte Flair does it, and ideally she'd probably do it in the next couple years. She's not going to be around 20 years like John Cena, I don't think, right? She'll want to start a family or whatever with her 8th husband. I mean, she's definitely trying to break Rick's record on that. Because isn't she on like her 3rd already?
Andrade was her 2nd. No, wait.
I thought Andrade was the 3rd.
He was the 3rd. You're right. Yeah, because she
Yeah.
married one like before she got in. Then she married the British dude from who was in NWA. I can't think of his name. And then she married Andrade. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's trying to break his record on that too.
She's got a long way to go.
Well, he's got what, 7?
Yeah, she's got a while before she catches up with him.
Well, yeah, but she's only like 35 years old. She's got 35 more years to get another 4 marriages in there. Anyways, so I thought those were pretty funny statements made by both of them on it.
Yeah.
So last week, after Rhea Ripley signed the contract along with Io Sky and Bianca Belair, apparently it's still not a triple threat match.
That'll probably happen. Well, I didn't watch tonight, but I was when they did the signing, I thought it was interesting that it was Rhea this time that pie faced Io. Io has been getting like the short end of the stick. Like the first week, it was Bianca. Last week it was Rhea, and when Io decided she wanted to do something about it, she got picked up in 2, and they both fucked her up. Bianca ended up throwing them both out the ring and holding the belt up. She has not lost to WrestleMania, and I'm whoever goes into WrestleMania as the champion, which I haven't watched Raw this week. I'm thinking that Io kept her belt, but I'm thinking it is going to be a triple threat. So if you're saying it's still not mentioned the triple threat, that means they didn't do it tonight either. Then
no. This is all last week's stuff.
Okay, all right, cool.
I got all of this week's down at the bottom of the episode. So,
I hadn't watched it yet, so
right. So we're not even going to discuss that.
Okay,
but the picture's still not clear as of last week, which had Scrap Daddy set up the angle of Io versus Rhea's rematch with Bianca being the special guest referee. And of course, my favorite part of that is Bianca as the special guest referee, and she's like, "I never refereed nothing." So yeah, you'll have to watch that match. Obviously, we get Penta versus Braun Breaker last week in I guess what was the main event last week.
That match was fire.
It really was. Penta. You know, we talk about how sometimes creative just doesn't understand certain talent, and I was listening to Thunder Rosa talk about Penta this week because obviously they work together in Lucha Underground and in AEW. And she said that it was really interesting to see how Penta and Rey Fenix both tried to learn English so that way they could make the transition into American wrestling. And, you know, even her, she's obviously La Mera Mera. Her whole thing is that she's Spanish before she's English, right? But she obviously speaks well enough to where she co-hosts one of the shows. With all of that, like, since Penta has been on WWE, has he made some mistakes? Yes. Did he get eliminated out of the Royal Rumble early? Yes. But the guy has been putting on fire. And like the fact that they're giving him a microphone and he's just jumping right in with, instead of just doing the Cero Miro, he's sitting there like spitting bars at us, you know, like it's impressive to see what he's been doing since arriving in WWE, not to mention the amount of merchandise he's been selling since showing up, because the WWE immediately sat there and said, "We need masks."
Yep.
and now and they're not cheap. You know, like Rey Mysterio, they used to do cheaper masks so that kids could get them. Now they're doing like $300 masks. Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty crazy when you see it. The only person that besides Ray and Dom, in terms of the Latin speaking guys on WWE that I think have actually shown any quality like what Penta's doing since he first arrived is Legado del Fantasma guy, Santos Escobar.
What about the other dude that's with Ray, in the mask?
Dragon Lee.
Yeah, what do you think of Dragon Lee?
I haven't really heard him talk.
Oh, that's true.
You know, so like, and specifically, I'm talking about being able to get over with your words right now, right?
Yeah, I got you.
But Santos Escobar apparently was only fluent in Spanish and taught himself English to where now, I mean, he is fluent in English. And he did that because he wanted to go to the WWE as he was growing up, and the worry when you end up meeting someone like a Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio sits there flat out tells you, if you don't speak English, the old man isn't going to pick you up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he might give you a quick run, like Tajiri or whatever, but then you're just going to become a like what's his face, Funaki. You're just going to become a joke.
Indeed.
And
then what about like Shinsuke and Asuka and Io? I mean, they don't really speak the, you know what I mean?
So I think that was more Triple H influence. But if you notice, when Vince McMahon came back, took over all of creative, that's when you got crazy speaking, fast talking Asuka, and nobody had any idea what she was saying.
Yeah.
You know, like at least with Shinsuke, they had it like Shinsuke when Vince was running everything, always seemed to be with like a Rick Boogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there was always somebody with him. I think Mojo Rawley was with him for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so all right. Now here I think that, you know, the entire episode of Raw last week was in Glasgow, Scotland, and I think they missed the boat with their TNA co-branding here. I know it would have only been a one-off, but Jey Uso's partner being Jimmy Uso was yeah, but so many people wanted it to be Joe Hendry. And the pop it would have gotten Joe Hendry right there. Joe Hendry would have known that he has to go to WWE after his contract's up.
He already knows. But
well, I know, but imagine being in Glasgow because we talked about it after the fact. Drew McIntyre was not on that show, at least live to the TV audience, because he would have gotten a pop. He wouldn't have gotten. He would not have gotten booed out of that place like they want him to be right now. So
he got a pop in England on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later, but he wasn't booed out the place there.
Exactly. So having a Joe Hendry there, though, the only thing it wouldn't have done is enhance the Jey Uso story, which is why they brought Jimmy out to bring back the Usos. I did like the fact that they just used Jay's music rather than Jimmy's music or rather than the Uso music, because it made more sense because he was the special partner of Jay, so he comes out with Jay's music. Match was fine for what it was. And then, of course, the slap heard round Glasgow, Scotland.
That's around the world. He slapped the fuck. And to the point, I almost wonder, Gunther probably knew he was going to get slapped. I don't know if he knew he was going to get slapped like that, because for a split second, the look on Gunther's face, he's like, I'm about to fuck him. And then he had to catch himself because he tried to break an eardrum. He tried to Cody Rhodes his ass. He tried to rupture an eardrum. He slapped the fuck out of Gunther. I was like,
he got him about as hard as you possibly could get him. And it was impressive to watch, to say the least.
Gunther probably talked to him after the show too. He said, "Come here, let me talk to you." If you ever hit me like that, because I would. I'm like, bitch, if you ever slap me like that again on TV, or no, not even on TV, you ever slap me like that again in life, we're gonna have a problem.
So I believe today's Monday Night Raw, by the way, is the last of the international tour. But I want to talk about this one more time. Obviously, I could have put this after SmackDown, but we'll talk about it right now. The international crowds, I say they work better on Netflix because they're not held to the time constraints. If you notice on SmackDown as well this week, they went into an overrun. They were about 8 minutes over this week when if you had told me they were going to go 8 minutes over, I would have said that it would have ended in a brawl. But there was no fighting on that SmackDown, and we will obviously get to that in just a minute. But the international crowds, Tino, I read a tweet today where someone said, I'm hoping they don't do this again where they go overseas before WrestleMania. And I got to tell you, I understand their thought process of wanting to get the hottest shows leading up to the biggest event of the year in front of hometown crowds, that we could possibly be one of the people that gets to go see the road to WrestleMania. But fuck no. Like the way these crowds have been, if you want to go into WrestleMania hot, I'm going to tell you right now, if these American crowds don't do the same thing leading into WrestleMania now, those towns are not getting another Raw or SmackDown for 5 years. Like that's how, like, Triple H knew what he was doing by setting up this tour that ends 3 weeks before Mania. You know, obviously you bring them back home so that way you can have lead up shows in big cities like LA, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh,
Chicago,
Miami, New York, Chicago, any of those places.
Raleigh, Charlotte. I tried.
Yeah, you're like Will Sasso doing his Ric Flair impression right now. I don't care if it's New York, if it's Philadelphia or Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Greensboro.
Hey, Greensboro does have an 18,000 person arena.
Yeah, they need to bring it back. Anyway.
They do. I'm not even disputing that. I think they need to have Starrcade every year in Greensboro, North Carolina. But but like they've never been hotter than they are right now, and it is because they've been able to put 25,000 people in all of these different arenas, like the O2 Arena in London. They did that Friday night and Monday. Like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's absolutely the smartest thing they could do, and that they have to keep doing.
Yeah.
So last week we had Stephanie Vaquer actually open and close the show. And I've talked with you about it off air. I still think at some point they're going to get one of these belts off of her, and they're going to do it. I would think relatively soon. And it's even because, like, you hear other people like Tommy Dreamer talk about how when he worked at ECW, he would open the show, he'd close the show, or have 2 or 3 extra like segments where you got to come down and hit somebody with something, and how it's just, you get that adrenaline rush for your match, and then you go on a crash after that. So if you have to come back out and do it again, like, how do you get that energy level back up? So I don't know if I see her maintaining both championships for an extended period of time. I also thought it was kind of interesting that one Mandy Rose came out this week saying that Stephanie Vaquer was not the first double champ in NXT, because Mandy Rose was the NXT and NXT UK women's champion.
Oh.
Just like wasn't it Gunther who actually combined the 2 men's titles?
I think so, yeah. Oh.
So Mandy Rose actually said she really doesn't like that they're that short-term memoried, if you will. The fact that they forgot that she was the first.
I don't think they forgot, but has she been Chris Benoit? You know what I mean? I don't think they forgot. They just might not want to mention her.
Well, she definitely hasn't been Chris Benoit. Like, Like they've when they've shown like the history of the championship, they definitely show her.
Okay. No, Bear, they're talking about Keith Lee. We're talking about women, not the men. Um, they were saying
Well,
about
even Keith Lee, I think, was the second because by then I think they'd actually and actually not even the second because when you're talking about double champs, Roderick Strong was the cruiserweight and the North American
but I
champion.
think where Mandy took issue was they were saying Valkyra was the first woman.
Oh yeah. No, and I
That's
agree.
that's all.
That's what I'm talking about is the fact that yeah, they did combine those two titles, but she absolutely did hold both belts up. She was a double champ for a hot minute.
And then it's just which belt does she give up? I mean, is she ready? Is she ready for prime time? Do we let her keep the main title and let her, or just relegate her to the North American and take that the women's title off of her? Which one do do you think she's ready to be the women's champ? You know what I mean?
I don't think they would have let her win that if they didn't think she was. But I say
But
that
I think they
knowing that when Roxanne Perez won it, they almost immediately took it off of her.
But I think too, you said I thought one of the reasons she won is because Julia was having travel thing, and they had somebody has to carry that belt, right? They already had that match. They had that match announced.
Well, it matters. What matters about that is how long is Julia going to be out? Because you can always fake that the champion just doesn't show up for a couple weeks. Oh, she got beat down in the back.
Okay.
If she's going to be out months, that's when you have to start looking at, okay, we got to take the belt off them unless they're Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, right?
Because I got a feeling they're about to put that shit on Jordan Grace.
We keep saying that, but and I mean she does look like she's weaseling her way into a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver.
There's two. Either she's going to lose that belt to Jordan Grace or that North American title is going to Cora Jade. So if she loses the North American title, I think that's going to be Cora Jade.
Cora Jade is such a smoke show.
I mean,
she posted 4 pictures of herself in a bikini today, man. I'm like, I can't even. Like I feel like a dirty old man. So other stuff from NXT, for whatever reason, I don't have other things written for it like I thought I did. But
my man, Ova came down and cost the OG, young OG, that match. I'm like, oh shit.
What? Now let me ask you this: an OG is supposed to be an original gangster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is a young OG?
He's a young original gangster.
How is that possible?
He's an OG in training.
Like, see, now if you told me that in terms of as a wrestler, he was going to wrestle like an old wrestler style, like a catch as catch can or mat technician stuff, like maybe a Gable or something, like I would almost say that, okay, what they mean by original gangster there is someone that wrestles like an older style, but he is all over the fucking place. He's jumping, he's almost jumping into the crowds. Like
that boy's bouncy.
that boy reminds me of Tigger, man. Like, I like what's going on with him. What is going on with Andre Chase?
I think eventually he'll go back to. I don't know if they'll bring Chase U back, but I think he'll go back to. Well, they might bring Chase U back. I don't know what they're doing with him. That those guys are trying to get him to be, the old Professor Chase, and he has his moments where he'll forget and he'll like, give me oh yeah, I'm not that dude anymore, right?
See, and they got to get somewhere with it,
They're building,
like I'm okay with the long term booking with it, but at least give me like an idea of where it's headed. Is all I'm asking.
That's not the point, dude. You need to wait like everybody else. You're just impatient.
No, I need to know now.
That's not how that works.
So what I'd actually like to see is him actually being like the guy helping the young wrestlers on Evolve actually learn their craft, because then he could be the teacher teaching them how to wrestle on that, and I'd be okay with that. So Ethan Page, I heard, has a chance at the not AEW TNA world title against Joe Hendry coming up.
I heard that. Oh wow! I've been watching TNA. I'm terrible. I
don't get access, so I don't get it.
I mean, I have the TNA, whatever the app, whatever, I can watch it, but I'm like, I don't want to.
TNA Plus or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And so you messaged me last week before I even had a chance to watch NXT. Why is it that new group never seems to attack Trick or Obafemi?
And I was saying, I'm wondering if Trick.
I think it's Trick.
Is the one who's bringing them in. And I wonder if that's going to be Trick stable kind of thing.
I'm beginning to think it's Trick.
Because they don't.
And what was really weird was the one guy got all the way up on the barricade and looked like he was going to hop over, and then they went to commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So you never saw any of what happened.
Then, because I'm like, they don't, but they did attack Oba that one time, but they've never attacked Trick, and that's why I'm like, and Trick seems to be. It's almost like you could tell. I think he's going back to being a heel. Like he's starting to. You could see him turning, right? You can see him getting darker. You can see him getting angrier, and that's what I'm like. I wonder if this mug.
So, question for you:
is the CM Punk to their Shield? You know what I mean?
So, question for you: there is Trick going to fully turn before or after Stand and Deliver?
I think he turns at Stand and Deliver.
See, I would almost say that he turns the Tuesday after, but I could see it being at Stand and Deliver.
And those guys win.
Speaking of Stand and Deliver, did you hear that WWE changed its TV time?
To fuck with AEW?
No, because WrestleMania on that Saturday starts at like 5.
Wait, what?
Well, it probably starts at like 7, like usual, but they've got that like 2-hour lead-in show. So what I'm hearing right now is that Stand and Deliver is supposed to start at like 9:30 in the morning.
I mean, it started early before, but I don't think it's starting because remember, wasn't that one day we watched wrestling all day? We was it? We watched. What did we watch? I know we watched 3 shows, or did we watch 2?
We only watched 2, but it was like we watched
NXT.
all of NXT, which started at like noon and went to like 3 or 4, and then drove to the movie theater to watch 7 fucking hours of AEW.
And it was 5, you big baby.
No, it was 5 for the actual show, and then they had the 2-hour launch.
It started. It's 7 to midnight. That's what it was. It was an hour. It was like the show started at 8. It did the pre-show at 7, and then
I'll tell you, man, I feel like I'm too old to watch 6 hours of wrestling in a row nowadays. Like I just can't. Well, you know how it is. Like you're sitting there watching Raw, and you'll be like this.
Not anymore. Raw's only 2.5 hours. I'm like this. I'm like, what the hell?
How'd they get through it? All right. So AEW Dynamite Collision. I didn't write anything down for Collision because I didn't watch any of it. But I got a couple. What's it?
As Collision or the one they did the hour on Saturday, hour on Sunday. I didn't watch that bullshit.
Which apparently they really liked the ratings for. Because I guess they had the lead-in of the NCAA tournament or NBA or whatever. But Tino, we have a new women's tag team.
Thunder Tits!
And you saw that Thunder Rosa's wearing a shirt that says Thunderstorm. And she goes, and she's like,
Thunder Tits!
She's like, no, it's supposed to be called Thunderstorm. And she's like, not anymore.
I love this.
Yeah, so the show started with Kenny Omega in a match against Blake Christian. Now, here's my issue with this, is that AEW has too many people that have the same name. and I know that this is only the second Christian that I know of, but damn, what's his face? Their commentator kept calling him Christian instead of calling him Blake Christian.
He's just calling him by his last name.
Well, I get that, but you have a guy named Christian. This is why, like, very rarely, like
in a month.
What's that?
Who you haven't seen in a month ever since
2
he
weeks.
cussed out the mom, since he told the mom he's going to send
2
him
weeks.
back to them. I think it was more than that, but okay.
No, it was 2 weeks, but it might be 3 weeks by the time we get to Wednesday this week. But it was 2 episodes. But even still, and that's only because he's not Tony Khan's favorite toy anymore. But like, you have too many of those. Like for a while you had Adam Page and Ethan Page, right? We sit there and we wonder. We sit there and wonder why WWE actually changed Ricky Starks to Ricky Saints, and it's because you have another Starks, Billy Starks, which sounds too similar to Ricky Starks apparently. Like, so WWE, the only one that I've seen where they screwed that up.
Billy Starks is on AEW.
Yeah, I know.
You said he changed it to Saints.
They still wanted to change it to get away from that type of stuff. My point, in WWE, you have Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman. Those are the only two. Those are the only two that are like that. You know, Bronson Reed is still Bronson. You know, if they wanted to let Bronson Rechsteiner call himself Bronson Rechsteiner, then you'd have a problem with two Bronsons, right? But there's too much of that in AEW. Brian Cage, Christian Cage, really? They're not related? You know, like.
That shit doesn't bother me. You let too much shit bother you. That doesn't get to me.
Well, it bothers me because in a match like this, Christian actually beat Kenny Omega for the TNA World Championship at one point, right?
But if you're watching the match, you can see with your eyes that that's not Christian Cage. It's not Christian.
Anyways. This guy, Blake Christian, never heard of him before. Did I think he had a chance to beat Kenny Omega?
No. First of all, they're bringing a lot of these guys in from New Japan Wrestling and these other places, so that's where he was. So he's a big thing. They're trying him out.
Yeah, apparently there's another one named Kenny Knight that... sorry, that they were... Man, the pollen's starting to get to me. I got to check to see if my window's open. Yeah, another one's named Kenny Knight apparently signed with AEW because they offered more money than WWE this week. It amazes me that, and it doesn't amaze me. Like Tino, if you were told you could take this job over here and make $50,000 a year working 45 hours a week, or you could take this job making $75,000 a year working 40 hours a week, which one are you doing?
I'm doing the more money, less time.
Exactly. And you look at what AEW requires of their wrestlers. 52 weeks, you get 104 total shows, right? And you're not on every single one. Whereas WWE, you're wrestling 3 times a week. Now, a lot of people say that you develop your calluses and everything else by wrestling more often so that you stay away from being injured and whatever more frequently. Your matches typically look better because you're wrestling more often, whatever the case might be. But they offer more money up front, right? More money, less dates. I mean, it's hard to say that WWE is the right decision for somebody who's going, I'm 23, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. Let me go ahead and make as much money as I possibly can. I get it. What I worry about is WWE putting all this money into training all these young kids that are like coming out of college, signing them to 5-year deals. When that 5 years is up, they go, hey, I'm taking the $5 million from AEW. Bye. You know? Chris Barrett, that's not true. There's very few people that make $1 million a year working 3 total dates. Mercedes Moné being one of them. Anyways, so moving on. This right here. Then we had the Kenny Omega talking to Mike Bailey and Ricochet showing up, getting married when he's supposed to be at Dynamite, right?
I'm sure he had time off to get married.
I'm sure he said, "This is the date I'm getting married." Whatever. Did you see how many WWE wrestlers actually showed up at his wedding?
Mm-mm.
A ton of them.
Of
So
course.
yeah, like Karrion Kross was there, and a bunch of other people were there. And it's because I mean he worked there for what 8 years.
And Samantha too. I mean, I'm sure they love Samantha Urban.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh, the Mike Bailey thing. He's a great in-ring performer. Like we saw him for DPW, right?
yeah.
Great in-ring performer. He's got a very odd-shaped body, if you ask me. He's got like the JD McDonough big head syndrome.
His big teeth. I'm not big.
Well, he's got that big smile.
I'm not big on. I don't know. It's just something about him doesn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Mike Bailey.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what. There's nothing special about him besides his mullet that I've seen, and the fact that he doesn't wear shoes. Like everything else, he's a mulleted Ricochet. You know, maybe with faster kicks. I don't know.
Well,
But-
no, I think their styles are different. Ricochet. I mean, you can tell Speedball is more martial arts styles. It's like a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
He looks like a mix between a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and a Power Ranger.
Like I said, I don't know if I don't know what it is. I hadn't connected with Speedball.
And I hate to say it, but I think part of the problem with that is that like WWE takes a lot of time trying to work on your character before they launch you. Not always, because obviously sometimes they go, well, shit, you're already a package. You've already established yourself. Go out there and do what you do. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, right? Like when they came back, they had already established who they were and what they were doing. Walter, now Gunther, same thing, right? Like that package is what that package is.
The phenomenal one.
Prime example, absolutely. Kevin Owens, even though he was Kevin Steen before, like everybody knew who he was. No. Sami Zayn, they worked hard to get that character over because he was El Generico before that. Like they worked hard to get Sami Zayn the way and Sami Zayn has adapted over time to whatever role they required of him. So originally he was just white meat babyface like Johnny Gargano, and then both of them at some point have turned heel, Yeah. Anyways, I'm not sold on Mike Bailey, and like it's sad because I really do think he would have done well with like an NXT thing. Like, because I think Shawn Michaels would have worked with him and said, where do you want your character to go? Because right now I just see him, like you said, he just smiles all the time. He's got that mullet and then he does kicks. MJF to the Hurt Syndicate. Wait. Not so fast.
I was like, what the hell's going on? He's like, give me the card. I'm like, is he about to fight damn Bobby Lashley? Is Bobby Lashley about to slap a bitch?
That's what it looked like.
I'm interested to see where that. So, is this Hurt Syndicate turning face, or is this
Hold on.
turning face?
Chris Barrett mentioned this. He said Mike Bailey can work, JD Funko Pop can't. I'm going to tell you right now, you take that back specifically because JD McDonough almost broke his neck.
No, dude.
Still finished that match.
As much as we talk about him and joke about his big head, he can work his ass off. And this motherfucker did that flip, punctured his lungs, and still fucking went back in and finished the match. So I got brand new respect for McDonough, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a Funko Pop, but
I got mad respect for that dude, man. That wow.
Thought it was hilarious that Chris Van Vliet was like, I don't think your head's that big. All right, so back to MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. They teased it by having MVP let the Hurt Syndicate go home, go to the gym, I guess is where they decided to go instead of going home and enjoying the day off. But Bobby isn't feeling MJF as part of the group.
So, like I said, who's turning? Is this face turn for The Hurt Syndicate or for MJF?
I think when you look at it, the Hurt Syndicate, the way that they've been going, have been the baby faces.
Okay.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin say, "We already got a guy," and then Cedric. I wanted to say Cedric the Entertainer.
If that bitch comes, that would be funny. He came with his glasses and his hat.
Cedric Alexander. My bad, folks. My bad. If Cedric Alexander, you know, and then they have Cedric Alexander come out, and you know, like he fits right in with the entire roster of AEW right now. So,
Cedric the Entertainer.
I don't know. It's the only Cedric I ever remember.
His damn roly-poly ass comes out to it.
Then they bring Thea back out to be Shelton Benjamin's mom.
No, God.
So, okay. A weird rated FTR promo this week. Dude.
Oh, it got weirder this Saturday if you watch Collision. Dax is about to turn heel.
He's got that heel mustache.
Yeah, I think he's not only. I think he's going to turn heel by himself. I think him and Cash and Edge or Cope are going to have something. I think it'd be interesting to see a heel run because I think out of FTR, man, I think Dax is the Shawn Michaels and Cash might be the Marty Jannetty.
I mean, they're both talented.
But I see something more in Dax, though.
Well, I think that's because they've actually used him more. You know, like specifically AEW's had him do singles matches with just about everybody. You know, so I mean, like he obviously thinks that he can go as a singles. I don't know. I do you find it weird recently that like AEW's thing is, hey, we've got all these big groups of people, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we're gonna split them all off. We're just gonna have them be singles, and it's like, are you doing that the same reason why like Eric Bischoff would break up tag teams, so he only had to pay one guy instead of having to pay two, or like what's the deal? Because like, just seems odd to me that like right now the Acclaimed are breaking up. Looks like FTR is getting ready to break up.
Well, the Acclaimed broke up because we hadn't seen Anthony Bowen in forever. I don't know if he's hurt or what that deal is. And out of the
I think he is. I think he actually is hurt because Billy Gunn was interviewed saying that like he has a feeling that when Bowen comes back, he'll be packaged with Bowen.
And in that team, I always thought that Bowen was the fucking workhorse. I don't really care for Max Caster.
Yeah, and his gimmick of "I'm the greatest wrestler going today." It's
let's go, Max. You're the greatest wrestler alive. I'm like, dude, if you don't shut the fuck up.
This week when Samoa Joe choked him out,
that shit was hilarious.
It was,
and then because he was like, he said, why'd you have to keep? Because him and Hook, why'd you have to keep it on so long? He goes, because it was fun choking him. And so when he choked him out, he got up. He goes, okay, and he's like, you're right, it was fun.
And then Shibata's translator sits there and goes, okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah. It was.
Here's something that was kind of interesting to me on Dynamite. Kyle Fletcher beating Brody King. Now, you just split Brody King off.
None of them have won the match. Except for Julius. None of them except for Julius. Well, okay, so the two guys, Brody and Buddy, have lost every match they've been in, seems like, so far.
Yeah, it's almost like they're being punished for Aleister or Malachi Black leaving. You know, and it sucks because Buddy Matthews just re-signed with them, and his wife is in WWE.
He could have gone with his wife. That's what I'd have been like. Fuck y'all, I'm out. I'm going back to WWE.
Well, we assume he could have. We don't know how he exited, so we don't know. No, he was let go. Like he was one of those in the mass fire and like mass layoffs.
But here's the thing. Rhea's the hottest thing. You don't think she has some pull that might be able to get him his job back if he wanted to?
Oh, he'd go to NXT tomorrow. like, and he'd be like up at the top of the card in NXT. Oh, I didn't talk about something in NXT that I kind of wanted your opinion on. Can we go back to that real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
All right.
Because we're at the 124. Yeah, real quick.
The Don and Stacks.
Stacks is getting ready to turn on the Don.
Like, I thought it was coming this week. Like when he said I want to talk to you, and then he put his hand on his shoulder from behind.
He goes, you can trust me. He goes, you can trust me. I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't. He's about to turn on you, dude.
Yeah. Now the question is, are the rest of them going to go with Stacks?
I don't know, because what's his name? The Consigliarity, whatever his name is, he's on Evolve. So I don't know if they're breaking him up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I think they won't. I think they'll stick with Tony. I think Stacks is the only one that's going to turn on him.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually see all that much in what Stacks has to offer. I haven't seen a lot of matches of his, so
he can go.
All right.
He can go.
All right. Back to AEW. Right. Meat on Meat Jones. This was just meat slapping meat, and I don't know if you heard the crowd. The crowd just kept meat.
Meat. It was a good match, though. I enjoyed this match. I like to see big bulls like that just go at it and just.
What I liked even more about this match was the fact that it was two different types of big guy. You had the swole with Hobbs. Like trying his best to do his best Leslie Jones meets Big E Langston look.
I tried that.
Now you can't unsee it.
It's the hair, Leslie Jones' hair. It's got her hair. I try not to laugh at that, but okay. They can bring her out as his mom. Or a sister.
But you had that, and then you had just like the big pear-shaped, Mark Davis, who is accepting his role within the Don Callis family, I guess. I don't know. Fun match though.
Yeah, it was
fun
good
match.
I enjoyed it. Swerve.
Whose house?
Swerve. I wanted to ask your opinion. So we know Swerve called out Moxley. They had their little thing. But Marina and what's my girl's name?
Willow.
Did that look like that shit was like might have been real? that might have gotten off.
I think Shafir said something as Willow was walking away, and Willow was like, "Oh no!" Came, yanked her off because then Shafir like started going at her.
They kept going at each other, and I'm like, "Wait a minute!" Like I said, it looked. You know how in wrestling, if you've been watching it long enough, you can tell. Okay, this is kind of that looked different,
stiff,
right? That look. And their facials, and I'm like, I think they really meant that shit. They went off script. That's something they might have had to go backstage and apologize to each other, because even if, you know what I mean? That just, I want to get your opinion. How'd that look to you? Did that look like it turned around?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was just me. I'm like, maybe they just wrote that real well and they added. I'm like, I don't think so, though. That looked like they meant that shit.
How often is it written that well in AEW?
Yeah. And I don't know what set him off. I'm trying to figure out. I went back and watched it. I'm like, what? And that, it might have been what she said. She might have said something to her, but I mean, she pulled her off the apron. And then that part, that part was part of it. But then all of a sudden they were swinging for, and then to keep getting pulled apart. I'm like, this isn't a normal pull apart, like a wrestling pull apart. This looks like a fucking shoot.
Yeah, especially since Shafir isn't used very often, like in matches. So I mean, like maybe they were just trying to give Willow more of an edge.
I don't.
But no, it looked like a shoot. It looked like a work turn shoot because obviously
Yeah.
she was supposed to come out, prevent her from getting in the ring, do all that stuff. But when she yanked her off, like I don't know, maybe her ankle hit funny and she didn't like it. Maybe she said something like "Yo, not so hard," and then all of a sudden she threw one, and before you know it, you got real haymakers going out there. And that's what it looked like to me. Like I haven't gone back and rewatched it, but
I'm
that's
interested to see if they hopefully they cooled down because they got a daggone intergender tag match this Wednesday. So if they hadn't calmed down, that shit might get.
so I want to talk about the other weird thing that was happening that entire in-ring transaction between Moxley and Swerve when you got Nana standing outside the ring and then all of a sudden he could feel Claudio right behind him and Swerve is looking right at Claudio.
Well, if you look,
Nana
was doing that thing where he's kind of like he's looking back, but he don't want to turn and look. He's kind of like his eyes are going like in that direction. He knows he's back there,
and like nothing happened. Like
I think they were trying to intimidate him. Okay, he's behind Nana, right? And so that's when Willow came out because Marina was sneaking in on the side, right? So because if you notice, Swerve never looked behind him. He goes, "Oh, I guess we can both play that game." So he knew Willow was back there.
Yeah, and I mean, like obviously he said, "How's it feel, John? How's it feel not to be the smartest guy in the room?" And it's like didn't Cope just try that whole thing? Let me take everybody out. Let me make it just you and me.
I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was just evening the odds. He knew that
but he wasn't evening the odds because there's no way Nana is even with Claudio.
You know what I mean? Because how many times if he's trying to handle the men and Shafir comes out and they don't hit Shafir, right? So he made sure Willow was there, and unless, like you said, they're trying to make Willow edgy, that smiley, happy.
It's got to be to add an edge to her. It's got to be.
Yeah, Marina Shafir is going to eat her for lunch, dude. Marina Shafir was going to
choke her out.
Yeah, so they need to make her edgy. They need to make it believable. Right now, it's not believable. Marina's going to fuck her up.
Yeah, it's not the days of the Rock and Sock connection.
No, maybe if they'd have brought out Chris Statlander, who was bigger, and I possibly have a better chance than Willow to bring somebody. You know what I'm saying? Bring somebody believable, right?
Willow is a good wrestler.
Yes,
and she's shown that she can do like harder core matches. But you and I are in the same boat there. We both think the same way. We both think that it's a situation where it really doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate saying this, but it does look like they went racial with it. Because
what do you mean?
Well, because it's Nana, Swerve, and Willow. Like they didn't just suddenly go, "Hey, we're gonna throw Marina, we're gonna throw Mina Shirakawa in here."
I don't think it's racial because if you remember,
it had a little thing going on anyway.
She had Copeland's back too, so I don't think it's just because Swerve and Nana are black. I think it's so Willow, if you want to put it like, already had that thing with the Death Riders and with Marina, right? So it makes sense that they would plug her in there. I just think they should have got somebody different in that spot to begin with.
No, I agree. I think that if they had went with somebody that already seemed harder, like Thunder Rosa, or something, it would have made more sense. Or a Britt Baker, or a Mercedes, but no.
Instead of Chris Statlander, I believe with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, no, Stat would have been a good choice there. So I put this up. Anything else from Dynamite? I do want to say that the main event, which was Thunder Tits versus Bane and Ford, I have that here. I didn't give two shits about the match. All they did was try to make Megan Bayne look strong the entire time.
Mm.
And at the expense of everybody else.
Agreed.
You know, like backstage, Thunder Rosa sitting there saying, "You do realize after this match, I still want my shot at the title I never lost." And it's because nobody backstage is writing what they're saying, so that she's actually just going, I really do still want another shot at that. Even though right now Tony Khan is not giving her any chance at that title anytime soon. Like,
Yeah.
don't give us false hope. Like, ask what your story is, ask what you're supposed to be doing, do that. Don't sit there and throw in one of those cheap shit lines right there that's never going to amount to anything.
She went into business for herself.
She absolutely did. Now here's one for you. We also got, because of the weird rated FTR transition talk, whatever. We also got a backstage segment with the rest of the Death Riders. And of all of them that got to talk, Wheeler Yuta was the one that's supposed to be the mouthpiece. First of all, him and his werewolf-looking face now. Like, I couldn't even see his mouth moving with that beard. It's like our buddy Fubar.
I mean, that's how Danielson was when he was remember, he had all the beard and the hair and all that stuff too. I mean,
so are they just trying to say that he's Danielson now? Like,
no, I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it was just as weird of a backstage segment having the three of them sit there and do that segment as it was to have the rated FTR segment. Like, they were both odd. And think about how Copeland must feel right now. I know when he came into AEW, said, "Oh, I want to work with everybody, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. I want the Cope Open and whatever." And that's all great and everything. But you just went from the world title match to now you're regulated over to a damn trios match that it looks like your tag team is going to break up in the middle of. Like, you literally went from the top of the card, main eventing a pay-per-view, to now you might be on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking ridiculous is that? Anyways, so Tino, I didn't watch it. I know that you did. And all I really want to talk about is...
Yeah, he came at the end. I told you about it. We had a Cappuccino Jones sighting.
Cappuccino Jones!
He came at the end to help another wrestler out of the ring. But
Cappuccino Jones.
We did have a sighting.
All right, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna knock this out pretty quick. SmackDown from last week. We got LA Knight versus Braun Strowman, interrupted by one werewolf, Samoan werewolf. I'm about to sneeze again. Pardon me. Man, this is coming out of nowhere too. Out of nowhere, like an RKO. And of course, Solo Sikoa backstage sits there and goes, "Jacob, what are you doing?" And Jacob's like, "What I'm supposed to be doing, beating motherfuckers up so I can get a title match."
You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, I mean. All right.
That's so stupid. I don't even want to talk about that damn dumb bullshit.
I like the group. I like the group, but I hate the name. The Secret Herpes.
The Secret Herpes.
The Secret Cervix.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be the sign you're going to see in the audience. The Secret Cervix. Cody Rhodes comes out, does a promo, which leads to Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre getting into it.
Randy Orton was giving Cody his flowers. And it was cool, and he's like, I respect you and all you did. He said, but when I'm ready, I'm pretty much, I'm coming for your title, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna come up behind you. I'm gonna tell you, it's coming. McIntyre decides he wants to come down. He gets in the ring, and as soon as he gets in the ring, fucking Cody Rhodes just fucking does a Goldust drop on him and gets on the mat, tries to punch him. Randy goes for RKO, and he gets out of it. Now, what I did find funny when he called he called old boy Timu Undertaker. That shit was hilarious. He's a guy liner Timu Undertaker.
We had been saying it for a while, and apparently Damian Priest did not take too kindly to that, because those motherfuckers wrestled all the way to the back, and you had like Stu back there going, "What are you doing? That's my car." Wouldn't it have been great if it was Shawn Spears dressed up as Stu right in that moment one more time? But anyways, they end up throwing that dude, and we get a really odd moment where Damian Priest does the South of Heaven choke slam to Drew McIntyre on the convertible's glass. Real glass, by the way. Drew McIntyre starts yelling, "It's in my eye." And CM Punk walks by at this moment. And I was just waiting for him to sit there, look at McIntyre, and say, "Cry me a river." Mm-hmm. And he didn't do it. And I've got to applaud him for being the smarter guy. But he did get that little chuckle on his face, and he went and just kept walking. And in that moment, Drew McIntyre is sitting there saying, "I've got glass in my eye. I've got glass in my eye." All these people coming up to check on him. And after the show, he's sitting there wearing a damn eye patch because they did pull something out of his eye.
Was that a work or was that a shoot?
The thing being pulled out of his eye, 100% real. Was it glass? They're saying no. So it could have been anything else. Maybe they had rubber coating on it. Maybe they had something else. Something shot into his eye. Okay. It could have been glass, sure. Maybe he wears contacts to the ring. Maybe it was contact shifted. I don't know. But 100% everything from what they said that he did leave the facility. He had to go to the doctor. They pulled something out, and he's been wearing an eye patch since. Do I think it's going to affect his status at WrestleMania? No. Is it going to affect his depth perception? Probably. But I was absolutely 100% shocked that CM Punk in the moment did not say, "Cry me a river, Drew." Because if you also remember, that really would have been a tie back to the to the Jack what's his face? Jungle Boy. Because Jungle Boy, shortly after CM Punk got fired, took a picture with Drew McIntyre.
Oh.
Yeah. Charlotte Flair actually has a match where she faces Michin. That's all I can say about the match. The Street Boys retain over the Yes Boys.
Street Profits.
Yeah, Street Profits, not Street Boys.
Yes. Yes, boy. Did we keep going? I don't know. What'd you think of the Naomi promo? Did you get that?
Well, I do really think that she's got the whole Owen Hart thing down. It wasn't my fault, but it was.
That's not Owen Hart. That was Gene Snitsky. But anyway,
you're
get it right. Well, what do you think of the promo?
I think she's still taking all the credit for it so far, and I think we're still going to find out it was Bianca.
Okay.
But I like it. I like that she's actually got character now, because since she's been back, she's been boring.
Yep.
She took a back seat to everything. So yeah, that's where I feel with that. Before we get to the main segment of the show, rumor is that after WrestleMania, SmackDown's going to be returning to 2 hours because the writing staff and the people working for WWE do not like the fact that it's 3 hours right now and think that it's wearing them out.
Okay.
So that's a rumor. But USA gave them some time here because Roman Reigns comes out, and you get Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, and of course he's sitting there looking at where the 3 chairs are for the contract signing, and Paul Heyman notices what he's doing, and Paul Heyman's like, oh, I got it, and he sits there and moves the 1 chair to the head of the table, which is where Roman ends up sitting, and he's like, your tribal chief likes this. Your tribal chief likes that you're singing to him, that you're appreciating your tribal chief. And of course, as he's sitting there getting ready to say like one more line, Burn It Down hits. Seth Rollins comes down. They all start singing his song. And I said it to you, it was a little weird to me that Seth Rollins leaned into Paul Heyman and said something to him, then leans back out. And while he's sitting there having everybody sing a song, he's sitting there and he puts the microphone in front of Paul, trying to get him to hum the song too.
Well, because Roman did that with Paul, because
right.
Heyman did the Roman Reigns. So I guess Steph's like, sing my song too, then, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Which was hilarious. And then we get the third part of this triple threat. CM Punk's music hits.
What do you see?
Comes on down to the ring, sits there, slaps everybody's hands all the way down, hops up on top of the second rope, looking out at the crowd, doing his best Rock impression from the turnbuckle, hops over, gets in the seat, and he's like, is this the contract? And he takes the contract and he starts reading it. And by this point, we're already like 12 minutes into the segment, and I think we're at almost 11 o'clock at night on Friday. And Roman sits there and he goes, man, this is TV. You you better get to it, son. We're working here. Like the show's almost over. You got to get to like it's on page 4, paragraph this.
You never read a contract before.
and then like Punk is still, he's like whatever, and he's just like still reading the script, reading the contract, and then he goes, wise man, did you tell him it's in there? And
No, he didn't. He didn't say that. Heyman jumped up to himself and said, oh, I know what you're looking for. It's in there. Roman never said anything to him.
I thought he did say something like show him.
Nope. Heyman took upon himself, and goes, oh, I know what you're looking for. It's in there. You are the main
closing event. The show.
But Roman never said anything. Heyman, that's what I thought was weird. Heyman just jumped up like, oh, I know what you're looking for. Roman never said anything to him. That's what I'm like.
So Punk sits there and gets told by Paul Heyman. He goes, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, you're 19 years trying to do this. Your dream of all your dreams from growing up and wanting to do this. You are closing the show. You, CM Punk, are a WrestleMania main eventer. And then he kisses Punk's forehead like he's at a communion for his godchild. And as he says that, Seth Rollins on his microphone throws a tantrum the level of either Christian or Chris Jericho back in the day when Jericho would sit there and rip off like the referee's shirt and everything. Just sitting there going, no, he does not get to, this is wrong. He should not get to, not even thinking, oh, I'm also a WrestleMania main eventer because of this. And then, you're almost thinking that you're going to get the explosion that's going to have the table flip and everything else. And instead, Roman sits there and he goes, you see this? One man's gift is another man's another man's favor. And he goes, or one man's wish is another man's favor. And he goes, Punk goes, he acknowledges him. He does the whole long sarcastic acknowledgement of Roman Reigns. And then he goes, oh, well, that's not the favor I'm owed. And then the show closes. So what is the favorite, Tino?
I have no idea.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking that it's Paul Heyman accompanies him down the aisle at WrestleMania. I think he's got it worked out to where Punk gets a title shot after Mania if he wins that match. Kind of what I'm thinking. So another quick couple things, and then we're out of here tonight. They added something to the Hall of Fame this year.
I don't understand that.
Apparently, ticket sales were lackluster to the event. So they have added the Bret Hart, Steve Austin WrestleMania 13 match as a match going into the Hall of Fame. Now, answer me this. Isn't this the second time they've done that? Because didn't they put the WrestleMania 1 main event in there?
I don't remember. I don't know.
I could swear they did because Cyndi Lauper said she didn't want to go into the WWE Hall of Fame because she's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm. And they put her in by putting her in vicariously through this match. But I could be wrong. If not, that makes Bret Hart the first 3-time WWE Hall of Famer. However, if I'm right and the WrestleMania 1 main event is in the Hall of Fame already, then that means that Hulk Hogan was actually the first 3-time Hall of Famer. Which means they might have revisionist historied it and gotten rid of that one. Last thing I got on the docket. You ready?
Yeah, I don't understand what happened there.
So, folks, for those of you that don't know, Gail Kim was the head of talent in TNA, at least the head of knockout talent, from what I heard. And apparently a bunch of the people that got terminated are the ones from, like, in this situation with her, but also the head of, like, the marketing division of TNA.
Why which is firing people, though? I guess that's my question.
So, all right. With Gail Kim, it's almost exactly what I thought it was going to be. When you're the head of talent and you're told, we're cutting the budget, but yet you want to bring in a Dolph Ziggler. How do you bring Dolph Ziggler in on a cut budget?
You don't.
Exactly my point. So you talk them into it. You're saying, hey, it's going to bring in more money. But let's say it brings in a negligible amount of more money, but it does bring in more money because obviously TNA is having really good business right now. They're selling out arenas bigger than what AEW is selling right now. So it's interesting because where you could tell something's happening here is as she's sitting there trying to move the needle, bring in the talent that they need, because we obviously over the past couple of weeks talked about a bunch of talent that just left TNA, right? So they're getting a lot of their talent work right now from like the NXT roster, so their roster is shrinking. WWE is probably putting the bill for the NXT wrestlers to be there, right? Mm-hmm. But when you want to keep a Josh Alexander, you want to keep a Mike Bailey, you want to keep these people, you want to bring in a Jake something, you want to do anything like that, like you find yourself in a situation where it's going to cost more money. And if you have a company that wants to cut the costs, you'll obviously have someone fighting against it. And what happens if someone fights too much against something that they won't change? They get fired. When you put someone like Tommy Dreamer in charge of that, Tommy Dreamer obviously knows the indie scene better. So he's one of the people that really does understand how to bring in those guys before they become something like a Speedball Mike Bailey, a Jake something, or any of those guys. So honestly, I think that's why Tommy Dreamer is now in that position. As to the marketing team, it doesn't really make sense to me because they did exactly what was asked of them, which was double the amount of TNA Plus subscribers as what they had. So right. They're bringing in twice the revenue now, and yet the company just said, yeah. Now, there is one other rumor on that list of people that got fired and everything. The new person in charge of the marketing side of it is a former UFC guy. Well, UFC is also the owners of WWE, right? TKO. So a lot of people think that this is streamlining some of the businesses between those two brands so that way, when the 5-year deal is up between the two of them, we could see a merger or a buyout of TNA.
I don't know though, because then they're going back into having a monopoly again, where it's just WWE is it. I mean, yeah, we still got AEW right now, but it sounds like WWE. That's why I didn't like when WWE bought WCW, because there wasn't anywhere to go. WWE was the only thing to watch. You know what I'm saying? I think it's better for them to have different places and have competition.
Well, I do too, and I obviously we want to be out of here in the next 5 minutes or so,
Yes.
but this is a pretty big subject. A lot of people think that the reason why they made the agreement with TNA in the first place is because TNA does have international television, and right now, where is WWE television? Anywhere except for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's only on Netflix, right? So if they want it on the other major networks in India, for example, they want Cora Jade or Obafemi showing up on something, or they want WWE ID people showing up somewhere, the only way to get them anywhere else is going to be through partnerships with other television programs on other brands, right?
Okay.
So specifically, now it's a 5-year deal with TNA in terms of what they're doing and how they're co-branding stuff and whatever, right? What happens after that 5-year deal is up? From the WWE specific side, do you know what happens at that point? They re-enter negotiations with Netflix about whether or not Netflix is keeping them for the rest of the 10-year agreement. Yeah. So, and so after 5 years, if Netflix doesn't want them anymore, WWE can start rebranding and going out and getting different TV deals all across the board again. So if they do that, then they don't need the TNA agreement anymore,
Gotcha.
Which allows them to either buy TNA so that they gather up all those contracts of the people that might go to AEW otherwise. Probably also better deals for the WWE because they're independent deals, not WWE deals, right? So lots of things there, and it's we could probably have an entire episode just on that. Yeah. We're not going to tonight, obviously. So, Tino, that's really all I've got.
Me too. All right. So thank you guys for watching and checking us out. You can catch me on Blue Sky. You can catch me on the Insta at SC Tino. You can catch me on the TikTok Tino All Great Music. You can catch the Potsy and Tino on Facebook. We're Potsy and Tino Show on Facebook. We're Potsy and Tino on X. You can catch us here each and every week right here on the Pots and Pan Network. Please give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, buy our shit. And as always, we want to say thank you to Adam's House Cats Jones for the wrestling song that's 99 cents, 99 Jones on iTunes.
Yep, folks. I think he said everything. I'm Pochak on X. I'm Rob Pochak on Instagram, Rob Pochak on here on YouTube, and of course, Rob Potsy Pochak on everything else. Give us a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Help us out. Buy a t-shirt. If you've got ideas for t-shirts that you want for the Pots and Pans Network or the Potsy and Tino Show, put them in the comments. We can make them happen. And with that, we are out of here. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Same Potsy time, same Tino channel. Here we go. We are out. I think.
Ready? Ownership contributing to Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
That's right.
Thanks for watching.